Hello folks, it's Eko here. In this video, we are going to dive into the junk drone and determine if it's actually junk or if it's a useful tool that they've implemented in Alpha 20. In this video, we're going to cover what the junk drone does, how you customize it, when and where you're likely to get it, and then I'll close out with some tips and tricks on how I've been using it on my community server. So here we are in my test world. I've got Frosthaven in the background if you've seen that before. And then I've got a couple vehicles that we'll use here for testing in a moment. And I've lined my hotbar with 6 of the robotic drones here so that we can kind of see the differences between them. And we'll start off with the simple level 1. And the first thing to know is how you actually deploy this. So it needs to be in your hotbar. Then you're going to press your right mouse button and then press it again. And that'll pop out your little buddy, who will tell you that they've done their startup sequence, and then you have a drone. This guy's going to follow you around wherever you go. I'll get into the pathing and the kind of nuances around that in just a minute. But the first question is what does this guy actually do for you? So when you walk up to him, you've got this press E to talk to him.
Ready for duty.
And that's going to give you 3 options. So you can see his inventory, and this is going to show you the first thing that he has. So he's got a 16 slot, essentially, backpack that roves around with you. So that's super helpful when you're doing kind of later game stage loot clears and you need extra space.
How may I assist you?
The next is stay here. If you don't want him to follow you anymore, you can click that. And then otherwise you can exit out saying never mind. So in addition to this, much like holding down R when you're in the shape menu, you can hold down E and you're going to get a radial wheel here. So this way you can also get to the storage option that he had before. Additionally, you have a quiet mode. If you don't want to hear this guy talk, you just click on this one and he will be silent, or she, or it. I don't know your drone. So next talk is going to bring you to that same menu when you just clicked on E. So don't bother going to the radial to do this. Just press E when you're facing towards your drone. Next, you can unlock your drone, and what this does is allows other players who are in your group to be able to come up to the drone and access the storage within your drone. Likewise, the enter code gives a method of having a code that they'll have to enter to get into that storage area. Next down here, you're going to have take. This is actually how you modify it. This is a little bit confusing, but when you modify the drone, you actually have to pick it up. And then this one, again, is another way of getting to stay here. So we're going to pick this guy up because we're going to pivot over here. Actually, no, we'll leave him down for a second. There's one other feature that he gives you out of the gate is an indicator when enemies are nearby. Now, for me, this is really helpful because I get lost in building a lot of times, and it's useful to know that zombies are about to kill you. So here's an example.
My senses have picked up something.
So that's one of several voice lines that it'll get when there are zombies nearby to just let you know to, hey, look around the map and see what's coming at you. So from here, let's look at the different mods that we have available. So there's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mods that you can do in this. And depending upon the level of the drone that you're talking about, you're going to have more mod slots available. So at level 1 and 2, you're going to have 1 slot. At 3 and 4, you're going to have 2. At 5, you'll have 3. And then finally at 6, you'll have 4 mod slots. So what do these mod slots do? Well, you take these 5 mods here. The first one is a robotic headlamp mod. So what this does is you come into your drone here. I'm actually going to start with the level 6 one because we'll be able to put multiple in there. So we're going to take this while it's in your inventory, click on modify. Then you're going to see all the available options. You also have a cosmetic slot. I don't recommend it because it doesn't look very good. It takes away a lot of the nuance. It colors any of the additional mods that you put in there. I'll show you what it looks like in just a second, just for reference. So let's slot in the robotic headlamp mod. So to use this one, you're going to put that in there. And again, we're going to come out here and we'll deploy him. And then you need to come over to him and actually turn that on. So that's going to turn on a flashlight. I'll show you how this looks later. We'll go run a quick mission in the dark so that you can see it. I find it not to be very helpful though, because he rarely shines it where you want to go. So I'd put this as the lowest tier item that you'd want to use.
Oh sure, pack me in a box like your other old things.
And you can see you get all these pithy responses from him. So next we'll modify, we're going to add in the little teddy bear, the cute one that everyone saw on the dev streams and whatnot. So this is the morale booster mod. And at first I was like, this might be kind of good. So what does this one do for you? So this one is going to give you stamina regen, is increased by 10% when near the drone with this mod installed. So on face value, 10% sounds pretty good. It also will help out nearby teammates. It doesn't stack necessarily. It does make your drone look a little bit more cute. So can we see that light click on? Now that we've redeployed them, we also have to turn the light back on. So now we can see what that light looks like here at night. And you can see all the other shining bits. Looks pretty good. So you can keep stacking these mods on. Now we're gonna pick him back up.
I will defrag my hard drives while in storage.
And you'll notice so far these two mods, you can only place one of these. The next mod is the armor plating mod. And again, each time you put one of these on, it's going to change the appearance of the drone when you deploy it. So now when I put him out here, you'll see that there's a little cage around this section. And again, if you want to turn the light on, you got to redo it each time you redeploy him. Granted, you're not doing that often when you're out and about. So, all right, let's take him back up. That one, all it does is reduces incoming damage. I've honestly not found that useful because I rarely have my drone go down. He seems to path out of the way of enemies pretty easily, and he moves really fast, so that hasn't been a challenge at all. So let's take some of these out and we'll put in some of the other slots. So these last two I would tie for best in class. If you can get them, it is the cargo mod and then the medic mod. The cargo mod, for each of these, you heard that right, each of these that you add is going to give you 8 additional slots. So if I wanted to just make, and every once in a while it does that. So if you just wanted to make this guy the Uber pack mule, you could fill this with 4 slots. And then when we deploy this guy,
Powering up, all systems go.
And we look at his storage, check that out. You've got the same storage capacity essentially as having a gyrocopter here, in addition to whatever vehicle that you're running around with. So that is just phenomenal. All right, let's pick him back up.
Where I'll be if you need me.
Yep, I know where you'll be. So let's go ahead and show you the last one. And I'll show you the setup that I'm using when I'm running this guy. This is the one that I think is by far the best. So if we take this robotic drone medic mod here and equip it, what it's gonna do, once we throw him out here, you can fill him with healing items. So let's look at his storage again. Now I pulled out some to give an example. So you can have him take either the first aid kit, the first aid bandage, or the regular bandage. Now I don't recommend this one as it's not very useful and he'll just spam them when you're hurt. So I tend to go with just the regular first aid bandages, and I'll run with 2 or 3 stacks of these. None of the other painkillers, splints, casts, antibiotics, nothing like that will work if it's in his inventory. And he does take some prioritization. If there is bandages and first aid kits in your drone's inventory, he's going to go for the bandages first, and he'll go for the first aid kits second. Now that we have him in there, he's not going to heal me, and let's get his light back on. He's not going to heal me until I hit, we got rid of the light. He's not going to heal me until I'm at 55% health or lower. So if I come back again and summon a few zombies, I didn't mean to get rid of my HUD there. Let's
Incoming enemies. Prepare
get some of these guys and let them beat on me a little bit. Come on, hit me, buddy. Let him get some hits in me. And once I get below a certain point, you're gonna see Oh, and now I'm infected. No one needed that. But you see, the moment I drop below 55%, we're gonna just kick in God mode for a second and get rid of all that. That it went ahead and used one of those medical bandages. So now I can go look in his inventory and you see we're down from 5 to 4. So this one is just incredible when you're running through quests and stuff like that. Really, really handy. So let's pick him up. And we are going to literally pick him up.
Where are you taking me?
Yeah, somewhere special. You'll like it. So we're going to modify it. We're going to take out one of the cargo mods. We're going to put the light back in here. And then we're going to run over to a quick mission and show you just kind of how it looks with the light going around. So let's just pop over. I've got this quest 122. I'm going to use this as an opportunity to also show you one other feature here. So one of the questions that everyone had is, what happens to this guy once you start moving? You know, will he keep up?
All systems go.
Let's turn his light on so that we have that on. And we're good to go. And
Ready for duty.
see his inventory, make sure that he's got healing. So we'll stuff those in there. And then, you know, there's a question of, will he keep up with you if I'm in a vehicle? So I've got this motorcycle here. I've got it with a supercharger. So even at full speed, you can see the drone is just going to keep chugging behind me. It's going to have no problem keeping up. Even in the gyrocopter, he has no problem whatsoever. So you can cruise around and just forget about him. And whenever you get to your location, you're going to be good to go and know that your buddy is still flying behind you. Let's see. Other side of the building. Other side of the building. So I'm not going to go through the full quest, but here, there we go. We've got an indicator again, letting us know that we've got some unfriendlies around us. So we'll start the lovely little tier 1 quest. Run in here and we can test his pathing here and see how he's doing. So you can see he's right behind us. He does a pretty good job of keeping up. Come on, buddy. Keep up with me. Let's go through some building here. See how you do in some close quarters. Anyone in there? Oh, hi, big guy. So you see he stays on you pretty well. Not having a hard time keeping up. In some of these close spaces, it's a little bit harder. We'll check out back here. Go into this. Now you will see times like this where he will get in his way. And if he does that and you try to shoot, he will actually act as a barrier so that you can't shoot through him. So here's another good test. Do an elevation shift. So we go upstairs here. And here's our drone right with us once again. So now that you've seen the drone in action, the next logical question is, when can I get one and how do I get one? So let's start with the when. In 7 Days to Die, loot tables are broken into 4 tech tiers, 0, 1, 2, and 3. In the case of the junk drone, it falls under tech 3. So extrapolating from there, here's a simplified table which shows you the lowest loot stage that you need to be at and the highest for each of the drone levels. If you're new to 7 Days to Die and don't know what loot stage is, or if you're from Alpha 19 and you're used to game stage dictating loot, there's some changes that have occurred. And to explain really quickly, you're going to go up to your character tab here, and then you're going to see loot stage listed down here under the second tab under core character stats. So right now my loot stage is 62. So right now I am not going to have any chance of a drone actually dropping. In this case, I brought one in via creative. But if you look at the table that I've put together, basically you're going to need to have a loot stage of at least 90 before you see a level 1 drone drop. Once you hit that loot stage, you will be up against the low probability, which is 20% of a drone to drop in specified situations. Now, I'm not going to go into the specifics of loot stage, but I will say that it is affected by your level, the biome that you are in, and the tier of POI that you are currently inside of as well. So if you're looking to push your loot stage up to try to get that drone a little bit earlier, you can try some of the harder biomes like the wasteland and the frozen biomes, and you're going to have an increased loot stage to be able to get that quicker. The other way to get the drone a little bit quicker is to actually build it. And you're going to have a little bit of an advantage because the schematics for the drone actually count as tier 2, going back to that massive table that I was showing you earlier. If you go the build route, you're only going to be able to build a level 1 drone unless you invest in the Robotics Inventor perk underneath the intellect tree. And as you gain levels in that, you'll be able to create higher levels of the drone, which gives you more mod slots and has a little bit more durability. So you can see it takes robotics parts, forged steel, duct tape, scrap polymers, and motion sensors in varying levels depending upon the level of the drone that you're creating. Now, if we're looking at a level 6 drone, we still can't craft those just like any other crafting items. You have to find those out in the wild. In addition to the drone schematic itself, the schematics for all the drone mods are also available at tier 2, so you should be able to find those before you actually find a drone itself. So if building isn't your thing and you prefer to barter or scavenge for the drone, those are options as well. Based on what I'm seeing in the Trader XML, it looks like you're going to need to have better barter up to level 4 or 5 before you're going to actually see the drone show up in the Trader's secret stash. I have yet to see the drone come up as a quest reward and couldn't find anywhere in the XML to support that, but if you've come across that, please let me know down in the comments. And lastly, if you want to find it out in the wild, you're going to need to find some Mopower electronics boxes. So there's your options to get a hold of a drone. You need to either build it yourself by finding the schematics, you need to buy it from the trader with better barter, or you need to find it out in the wild in those Mo electronics boxes. Before we wrap and I give you those last few tips and tricks that I've picked up from playing with the drone on the community server, please drop a like and subscribe if you've enjoyed this and found it helpful. With that, let's hit on a few last tips here. The first thing is all about Horde Night etiquette and your drone. So there's 2 challenges with the drone during Horde Night. The first is that it's super chatty, so I highly recommend that you put it on quiet mode. You don't need it telling you every 3 seconds that there are incoming enemies and whatnot. The other thing is I highly recommend putting it on stay so that it remains out of the way, because otherwise it's very easy for it to just camp itself right in the line of fire, making it difficult for you to actually shoot the zombies on Horde Night. My next tip is going to be around mods to use. My recommendation is that you use one of the medic mod and then fill out the rest for the cargo mods. Because honestly, at this point in time, the companion mod, as cute as it is, the 10% stamina regen is really kind of irrelevant once you're hitting this late game stage anyway, by the time you're going to get access to the drone. Additionally, the lighting mod doesn't seem to really help because it doesn't go where you're heading anyway. And then finally, the other mod, the protection mod, the armor plating, doesn't really help. I almost never see my drone go down. But I do see the scenario that you're seeing right here where I've got a ton of stuff, nowhere to put it, and having that drone to be able to fit that extra inventory in is super helpful. Lastly, I'll just say stock up on healing bandages. Man, doing these tier 4 and tier 5 runs in the wasteland, it is so much easier having your bot just run behind you and heal you, and you don't even have to think about it, and you just plow through, grab the loot, and go. So that is it, folks. Best of luck to all of you to find your friendly drone companion. Let me know in the comments how you are using it and how it's working out for you, but I do not think the junk drone is junk at all. I think it is a fantastic addition to the game, and I have thoroughly enjoyed it. With that, folks, Eko's out.